Our first guest tonight is a very funny and talented individual who has 15 seasons of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia under his belt and a new movie that he wrote and directed. It's called Fool's Paradise. It opens in theaters May 12th. Say hello to Charlie Day.
Crowd tonight. Good.
I was very impressed that you and your Sunny pals went over to London and Ireland. You had like sold out shows there.
We did.
In a foreign, those are foreign countries.
Yeah, in other parts of the world.
And I was wondering if somebody told you like almost 20 years ago, whatever it was, when you're making your writing, It's Always Sunny and trying to get on the air, that 20 years later you'd be doing a podcast and so many people in other countries would come just to see you talk about this show, that would be a surprise, yeah?
Yeah, I'd be like, well, you're dead wrong. We're not gonna fill a stadium of people just to hear us have a conversation. But we did, and we'll do it again.
Yeah. And the venue you're at was the Royal Albert Hall, which is like the Beatles played there.
Yeah.
And, it's a very, a lot of history. And
I have a theory about this place. So you know how there was this mystery, like maybe Paul is dead. People are like, oh, Paul's dead. It's not the real Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Well, when you go in the bathroom of Royal Albert Hall, I think he's dead and he's in there. The smell of that place.
Really?
Yeah, just beautiful. You walk in, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Then you walk into the dressing room, you're like, oh, this is the smell of ghosts. This is
it bad?
It's an old smell. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah,
you don't think
old.
about that. Well, I think the Beatles, I think they wrote a song about how many holes there were in the Royal Albert Hall many years ago, and that was that was quite some time ago.
What are the songs about how many holes there are in the building?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Which one is that?
It's what is it, Ken? Day in the Life. Yeah. All right, everybody, calm down.
I don't listen closely to lyrics.
You'd think those holes some of the smell would go out of them, but I guess not.
Should we write a song about it?
So you did this big thing. By the way, I saw your buddy, Rob McElhenney, yesterday. No, yesterday, on Saturday. Him and his new best friend, Ryan Reynolds. How does that... What's going on there? Does that cause you any, jealousy, envy, bad feelings a little bit?
Yeah, he's trying to trade up on me,
he comes up with this idea to buy this soccer team, or football team, as they call it now that they're Welsh.
He calls it football. But
yeah, he's learning to speak Welsh also. You know this.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying.
Yeah, that's all fine, and I'm proud of him. But it's the fact that he's got this super handsome movie star best friend who just keeps being like, you know what? I made another $1 billion today. I sold a phone company. It's time for this guy to stop, right?
You need that. That's what you need. You need one of these guys like that.
I need a guy.
Who would be your guy that you could buy a team with or something?
I'm talking to you, DiCaprio. You hear? Let's start hanging out, man. Let's start hanging out. Let's buy the Mets or something.
Mets not for sale. They were just purchased. But you can go, I think, shoot a little bit lower. You know what would be good, though, is Hugh Jackman, because he and Ryan, I'd like to see you steal one of Ryan's friends from him.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Ryan did a thing, too, where he had this, high-production birthday song for Rob.
Yes, they do birthday videos for each other.
The guy put in, $100,000 into a birthday gift.
Just teaching people how to pronounce
It's
Rob's
like a bad movie from the 1980s, you know what I mean? Where the sports jock steals your friend, and you're like... It's
like Can't Buy Me Love is what it's like.
That is what it is.
Remember when Patrick Dempsey betrayed his friends he would play poker with? And then they on his house? That's what they're doing to you. They're
on my house, man. These guys. Man.
I'm angry for you.
Yeah, well.
They did tell me a story about you being over there watching one of these games. And, would you mind telling me the story as you saw it? Because I thought it was kind of interesting.
Well, we did a lot of great things over there. One of my favorite things we did, before we talk about me trying to run with the athletes, which I think is where you're headed.
No, it's not, but please tell me what you have.
We went to a distillery, a famous Irish distillery, and we met by a man who's like the godfather of making whiskey. and we get off this bus, and he's about 107 years old. You know, he's got like 3 wisps of hair, and he's like going to show us on a tour. We're like, oh boy, we got to get to the show, you know? He's like, are you boys ready? We're like, sure. And he goes, let's go. And he starts firing all over the place. You know, he's firing. He's like, come in here, boys. And he's like down in the machine. He's like, taste this. Taste this. You know, he gets up, he turns the spigot on. He's like, try that one. Try that one. This guy's going all over the place. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if I can bottle up what this guy has when I'm his age, that'd be amazing. We get on the bus. We look up how old he is. He's 71 years old. He looks like man. So, you know, as for like, drinking the machinery and getting your hand, just don't drink straight from the machines.
Then you go to this game.
Then we go to a Wrexham game.
And I didn't know this. I assume you were stunned to learn this, but you're not allowed to drink while you watch the game. There's
I was
no
drinking a beer when I found that out.
You were drinking, yeah.
Yeah, so they do have like a Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney private box where they look down upon their servants.
Not supposed to drink in that either.
Get out.
I got details on this, yes. What you did was a violation. You probably won't be invited back to Europe.
Yeah.
You know?
They're not going to let me back in Wales?
But they told me that they caught you on camera drinking a beer.
Yeah.
And your solution, when you realized they said, hey, you're not allowed to do this, you just drank the whole thing on camera.
Yeah. Well, no more beer. So.
Now it's gone.
Yeah, now it's gone. Now it's about 3 deep. Which was fine, you know. I was like, that's reasonable. It was I was like, this is going to be good for me, you know, that I'm not allowed to drink here because I'm going to pace myself.
What about getting on the field? Why did you get on the field?
Okay, so this was a big mistake. It's a great game. They win the game. Very happy for Rob and Ryan. And we go down to the field, and they're like, do you want to do the cool down with the boys? And, you know, Glenn and Rob are like, nah. I'm like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, what is it? And they're like, well, you just sprint with the boys. I'm like, yeah, sure. So I line up with these guys who are young enough to be my children, and we take off running as fast as we can. Now, till about halfway through the field, I'm keeping up. I'm like, hey, these guys aren't that. And then I realize that one of them's running with me the way you run with your child. You know, like when you're holding his hand, he's like, come on there, Charlie. You're doing good there. You know, then they see that they're supposed to keep running, so they just keep going. Then we get to the end of the field. I'm like, the field, by the way, is much bigger than like the field my 11-year-old plays on.
Right.
And then you get to the end of the field, and I'm like, well, that's done. And they're like, well, now we're going back. I'm like, why not? I might not make it all the way back, but I gave it a go, and I've just caught my breath like 15 minutes ago.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give you another breather. We're going to take a commercial break. Charlie Day is here with us. His new movie is called Fool's Paradise. We'll be right back.
You got some chairs?
No, we're good. Hey, I just want to tell you that I dig what you're doing. Really, I just think, like, words are overrated. You know, they're such crutches for us as actors.
Can I get you guys some chairs?
No, we're standing. You know, Spielberg said that you should be able to watch a movie with the sound off if it's
Hey,
good.
guys. Got those chairs for you.
Get them out of here.
That is Adrian Brody and very silent Charlie Day in Fool's Paradise, which is a movie you wrote, you directed, you starred in, you gave yourself almost no lines in the whole movie. And tell everybody what the idea behind the movie is.
All right, well, so we start with Ken Jeong, who, by the way, gives, I think, the best performance of his career, and not just because I wrote and directed him in it, but he really goes out of his way. It's like emotional, but it's hilarious. And so we start with Ken, and he's this sad sack, down on his luck publicist guy who just wants to be in Hollywood, and he's being fired by his one and only client. And he happens to meet a man in a mental health facility who doesn't speak, who's me. I look just like a method actor who refuses to come out of his trailer. So the two of us collide, and we go on a rise and fall through Hollywood, and then comedy happens, and the rest is a lot of fun.
You wrangled quite a cast here. Let's go through some of these names here. Besides Adrian, Jason Sudeikis, Kate Beckinsale, John Malkovich, the late Ray Liotta is in this movie, which You shot this when?
I shot it over the course of a long time. I did my first pass of it in 2018, and then right before I went to go sell it in 2019, I changed my mind and I shot a whole new chunk of it in 2021 because I decided I like to take my time.
Yeah, well, why not? Why, if you can take your time,
It's
why
my
not?
movie. I'll put it out when I'm ready.
Jason Bateman has a part in the film. How did you get Jason to be in the movie?
So I was very lucky with, getting people I hadn't worked with, like Ken and Kate, and people I knew a little bit like Malkovich. But Bateman I obviously know from Horrible Bosses. And I went to drop my son off at school one morning, and I ran into him. And he said, "Oh, how's your movie going?" I said, "Oh, great. I got Sudeikis coming to set tomorrow." He's like, "Man, I wish I could come play with you guys." I said, "Well, come." He said, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I will stay up all night writing a role for you. Come to work." And he goes, "Really?" And he came down, and of course, because he's a comedic assassin, he's like the funniest thing in the movie. And I could have caught him out of it, but why would I do that?
And it doesn't bother you when he says things like, "I'd love to come play with you guys"? That doesn't, you don't see that as like a character flaw,
No.
Okay, all right. Well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
That's very
no,
warm and open of you.
I'm a Hollywood weirdo, man. That sounds great to me.
Always Sunny comes out next month, right?
Yeah,
Or June,
the
right?
16th season. Can
Yes,
you believe it?
16th season of the show. This is your friend Rob, who I probably have mentioned too many times for your liking, posted this on Twitter. This is is this an episode or what's going on here? You got Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston
That's
there.
an episode of television, pal. So we're making fun of celebrities who sell a booze, and they said, can we be on your show? We said, we're going to take the piss out of you. And they said, aren't you selling a booze yourself? We said, yeah, we're going to take the piss out of ourselves too. That's what we do. And they're great on the show. I can't wait for people to see that episode.
So they are not playing Walter White and Jesse Pinkman here?
No, they're
not the gang
they're
gets hooked
playing
on
themselves, but we're convinced that it's the dad from Malcolm in the Middle and Malcolm.
Fool's Paradise opens in theaters May 12th. Charlie Day, everybody.